guys, welcome back to my channel. So it's been a while since I've done a cooking video. So today I'm going to cook for you. I'm going to show you how I cook my stewed pork. So I'm going to try to be as authentic as much as possible. So today should be my continuation of my challenge of my hibiscus powder, aloe vera powder, and my avocado powder. So I'm just going to put a little mix to it. So I'll be doing stew pork for you today, and I'll show you that I'm still doing my challenge, my avocado ear mask challenge. So what I'll be needing today for my stew pork, so the pork. So I'm gonna unravel the pork out of the dish. Alright, and I'm gonna wash my pork. Let me turn the camera so you can see what I'm doing. Yes, I'm washing my pork. So I am going to try to stay as authentic as much as possible, you know. Make sure you wash your meat really properly, because that is important. Take off all the slimes and all those mess off your meat. Alright, so I think it's washed enough. And you know, I don't like my meat to smell raw or anything, so I'm going to use like a small cap of vinegar. On my pork. And I'm going to just rinse it off a bit. I'm not going to keep it on. Alright. So what I'm going to use for my seasoning, I am going to use Caribbean Rhythms meat seasoning, a taste of Jamaica. Alright. So this is the brand. Alright, so I'm also going to use black pepper. So I'm going to pour a little bit of the seasoning on the meat. So this is to give the meat flavor. So it is Saturday night, so I'm seasoning my meat from Saturday night for Sunday. So I like when my meat marinated overnight. You know, the longer it stays for me, the better it tastes. You don't need a lot of anything. And I'm using my Himalayan salt. I just sprinkle a little bit. I don't do any measurement. I just use a little wisdom and make sure I just put the right amount so it's not overwhelming. It's not salt or anything. Oh God, anytime I use the seasoning. So I'm using onion powder. Makes me sneeze. So I'm using a little bit of the onion powder because I'm going to use the raw onion to the seasoning mix. And this is garlic powder. So this what I'm cooking is mainly for my husband because he is the one who really likes to like pork. So I am going to rub the seasoning in the meat to make sure it's evenly distributed on the meat. And I think I'm going to put a little bit more of this seasoning on it. This one. And I'm also going to add my ginger. I'm going to mix my ginger in. So I grated my ginger. You know, ginger is good for inflammation, upset stomach, and all those things. So you can't get upset stomach after eating your pork at all. It settles the stomach. Alright, should be good enough. And I also gonna incorporate my scallion, onion, and thyme. So I'll go ahead and chop up my onion, and I also have some Irish potato, but I'm not gonna put the Irish potato in as yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and put in my thyme, and I'm gonna put in my scallion and also the chopped onion. I'm gonna mix it in. You don't have to like mix in one by one. You can just put in everything in the container and then you can just mix up everything at once. But I rather do it this way. Alright. And I like to use bell pepper. I use bell pepper in almost everything I do. So I have chopped tomatoes or tomatis and bell pepper. So I have tomatoes and I have bell pepper in this. So I'm just going to pour everything in the mix on the meat. And I also have carrot. And I'm going to put a little bit of browning on it, just to give it a little color when I'm frying it, to get it to be cooked down. So I'm going to get a little bit of browning. So guys, I could not find any browning. I'm out of browning. So I am going to substitute a little. And I'm going to use this one here, mushroom soy sauce. I think this will give it a little color when it's ready to fry. I never really use it on my pork. I use it on my meat, on my chicken, but I think this should do the job. Alright, just need a little. And also, I am going to put our homemade jerk seasoning. When you put this on your meat, you don't want to stop eating your meat, I tell you. So I'm going to put just a maybe half teaspoon because it's really hot. So I'm not going to put a lot on it, you know. And I'm not going to bother because I'm using this jerk seasoning, I won't put any habanero pepper on it. This will replace it. So I'm going to take just this should be fine. Alright, and I'm going to mix it into the meat. So I'm going to put rub everything into the meat. Make sure it's evenly distributed. All the seasoning, all of that, so all the flavors can come together. Smelling so good, I tell you. It smells so good. You can smell the jerk seasoning. Alright, so I am going to pour the Irish potato in. And I am going to show you how I store my meat overnight. So to make sure I locked all the season in, so it can be well delicious when I finish cooking it. Alright, so I'm going to just put it in a Ziploc bag. Growing up. Right, so I'm going to put it in the Ziploc bag and I'm going to leave it to marinate overnight. I know if you should taste it when it's finished. I know you don't want it to be finished because of my ingredients, my season, my combination. So when I was growing up, and if my grandmother don't have the ready-made brownie, she would just get a little teaspoon and just a little teaspoon of sugar and just mix it in, and it would do the same job as you'd have the ready-made brownie. So I am going to let me wash my hands. Right, so I'm going to put this on it to marinate and leave it overnight, and that's it. So I'm going to let it sit on the counter for about 30 minutes to an hour, and then I put it in the fridge for it to stay overnight, and then in the morning when I wake up I take it back out the fridge and leave it to be thawed out for maybe 30 minutes, and then I cook it. Alright, so this is my stew pork being marinated. Alright, so I'll see you in the morning when I'm ready to cook this. Alright, see you. How can I forget to include my garlic? So I already crushed my garlic, and I'm going to slice it up in pieces and then add it to the bag. I don't know how I forget my garlic. How can I cook without garlic? Wow. Maybe this. So I use 2 cloves of garlic. 2 pegs. I don't know what you call it. I say 2 pegs. I don't know. Maybe this might be a little bit too much. I don't think so. So I'm adding my garlic to the bag. It's not too late. It's not too late. So I'm going to mix it in. And so you should smell this. I can tell you. It smells so good. Alright, so I'm going to have to wash my hands again. And that's fun. So I'm finished seasoning. So I'm going to leave it to marinate overnight. So I'll see you in the morning. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So this is the morning after. So it was Saturday night. I seasoned my pork from Saturday night to marinate right throughout the night for Sunday morning to make my Sunday dinner. So this is the pork. This is the pork. This is it. So when I said I'm going to take it out of the fridge to thaw out for 30 minutes, I did not put it back in the freezer. I put it in the fridge to keep cool so it won't spoil or anything while it's being marinated. So I take it back out of the fridge when I wake up this morning. I leave it out for 30 minutes before I'm gonna put it in the pot. And also for your pork to be authentic, for it to be cooking authentic, you have to add pimento. But I did remember the pimento, but I did not have any pimento. And I did not get to go buy pimento. So it won't really affect the taste of your meat. It just will take a little bit away from the authenticity. So this is my pork. Alright. So today is Sunday. And you know we cook on Sundays. It's a big thing. We cook a lot on Sundays. You know, where I'm from. So I did go ahead. This is my salad that I'm gonna finish. I made my salad. I didn't make the salad. My husband made the salad. So this is the salad. So I'm gonna put it in the fridge. Put it back in the fridge. I just want you to have an idea of what I'll be eating. Well, I don't really eat the pork that much. My husband and the kids will be eating with the pork. Alright, so I am going to just a minute. Alright, so I already put on, I'm going to use 2 pots. I'll be using 2 pots. One to get the meat to a brown color, because I don't like to, when I finish cooking brown stew in my pork have a white look. No, I can't eat it like that. So I have this pot that I set up. So I'm going to adjust the camera a bit just to show you the pots that I'm using. So stay tuned. Alright, so I've adjusted the camera so you can see the pot. So this pot I'm going to use for frying. I'm going to fry the pork a bit. Alright, so I'm going to let it come to us, you know, golden brown color or close to golden brown color. And then after I finish frying, I'm going to put it in this Dutch pot. I'm going to cook it down in the Dutch pot. Okay? So what I like to do when I fry my pork, each piece when I fry, I just place it in the Dutch pot. So I just keep the Dutch pot at a warm temperature. Just turn the stove down low So as soon as I fry a piece of the pork, I just add it in the pot. And also, what I'm going to use to fry the pork, I'm going to use grapeseed oil to fry my pork. Put some more. I like when the oil covers the entire pot bottom. So the reason why I don't fry it in the Dutch pot, I fry it in this pot here before. I don't want all the oil to be going in, to be cooked down in the pork at all. But you will see what I do. Alright, so I'm gonna make the oil get really hot, and then I add my pork to the pot, okay? So it's time for me to add the meat in the pot because I don't want it to be too hot where I have to be running from the pot. But if you see me run, please understand, because I know these burns is not something that you want, because when I get them on my hands it stays a while and I don't like to see it. Alright, so I make sure all the vegetable comes off the meat. Make sure it's fully come off the meat, because if you leave the vegetable on the meat, if you leave it on it, it's gonna cause the meat to burn quickly. And we don't want the meat to burn. We want it to fry, you know, come to a golden state. Because, you know, if the meat is burned, it's going to be bitter. And we don't want, and if it is bitter, you're not going to enjoy it. So remember to take off all the seasoning, all the vegetable off the meat before you add it to the pot to fry. So I might just put 3 pieces at a time, because I think the pot can hold 3 pieces. When I was growing up, you know, these pork would be one of my favorite meals, one of my favorite meats when my grandmother would cook. Because I tell you, she cooked it so good. It's like you don't want it to finish, you don't want it to done, you know. And then pork was like a top shelf meat. Because guess what? It is really expensive. It is expensive per pound. Even when you go to the jerk shop to buy pork and you buy a piece what you can afford, I tell you, you'd wonder, why did I pay so much money and I get such little pork? But pork is, back where I'm from, it's very expensive. It's an expensive meat. I don't know if for now, you know, because I've left Jamaica quite, you know, for some years now, few years now. So I don't know if it's the same, if it's really still expensive, or, you know, things, you know, it's a bit cheaper. But I can tell you, when you go buy pork, you get a small portion, especially the jerk pork. So it is frying now. It is frying, so I'm going to wait until it comes to a golden color, brown color, and then I'll flip it over, and then you'll get the gist of what I'm doing. Alright, so we're gonna just wait until it's brown. Alright, but I tell you, when I was growing up as a child now, and you go to the, you know, any little function or any little thing keeping, and you go there, and you go there, and you say, okay, I have a little bit of money in my pocket, I'm going to see if I can get a piece of jerk pork. Because when them jerk pork, you know, you don't want that to finish when you get a piece, when you get a hold of piece, when you get a piece to eat, you know. So you try to buy and eat, but when you get it, it's like, oh Lord, this is what I get for my money, because pork is always an expensive meat, especially when you get it jerked. But that was one of my favorite meat also, pork. But now I kinda sort of not eating it much. But I'll do it now and then because my husband loves to eat pork. He likes pork. So I cook it mostly on Sundays. And some Sundays he cook his own. But today I'm doing this for you so you can see how I cook my pork. And you know, so you can, kind of follow the recipe if you're interested. Alright. So we're gonna look again to see. We're gonna look to see if it reached to a golden state where I can flip it over. Alright, let's see. Let's see if it's ready to flip. I don't think so still. It's coming along. It wants to brown some more. So when I'm ready to flip it over, I'll let you see what it looks like. Alright, now, so it's want to turn now. Let's see. So, see? It's coming to perfection. I tell you. All you need is a little patience. Yeah, man, so as I tell you, when I was growing up, man, pork used to be one of the top shelf, especially jerk pork, and you go to the functions and you're glad you have a little money in your pocket where you can buy a piece of pork, jerk pork, and then the only amount I could afford was the quarter pound of jerk pork. At that time, it was a long time, it would be like 250 Jamaican dollars. I don't know how much for it now. If somebody ordered pork recently, jerk pork recently, like a quarter pound, if you can just comment down below and tell me how much a quarter pound of pork now. If you go buy a quarter pound of jerk pork, how much it would cost. I'm curious to know, because that's the amount I could afford. Alright, so I flip it over. So I'm going to wait until the next side brown, and then I'm going to put it in my Dutch pot. Alright, so while I'm waiting for it to brown, I'll be back. Alright, so it is brown enough now. So I'm going to put the Alright, so I'm going to transfer the pork in the Dutch pot. So as I told you before, I kept the Dutch pot on low heat, so when I put my pork in, the pot will not cold. I don't want the pot to be cold. Alright, so I'm going to I'm going to show you in the Dutch pot when I finish, when I get the chance to. Alright. Let me set the camera so you can see the Dutch. Alright, that's the Dutch pot. That's why I tell you, you have to take off every piece of the vegetable. I don't know if it's a piece of vegetable or a piece of fat left back in the pot. But I tell you, it was ready to attack me in such a way. I almost leave the pot. Alright. So I think it's only 2 pieces left, or 3 pieces. So I'm almost done. Put back the pot on the stove. I tell you, it attacks me a while ago, the oil and everything. Alrighty, trying to get every pieces of pork into the pot. As I don't want to see no piece that cooked and did not fry. I don't like to see that at all. So some small pieces. Okay. Alright, I have another big piece. So this is how I cook my pork when I'm cooking my pork. And and I try to stay as authentic to what I know. So what I'll be doing, I'll be spreading some of the jerk seasoning on top of the pork. And I'm going to cover the pot. So I told you before, I turn the stove on low heat with the dutchie. So I'm just going to spread a little bit of the jerk seasoning all over the meat. So this jerk seasoning is homemade. My husband made this. It is homemade. And I tell you, it is so good. It gives flavor to your meat, the cooking of meat. It gives really good flavor. So I am doing that, but I'm not going to put a lot. I just put in just a little bit so that while the meat is there on the stove waiting for the others to come to put in the pot. It's on low heat. I'm going to cover the Dutch pot. I'm going to leave it there while it's there. Alright, so I wish you could taste this because I know how it's going to taste. It's going to taste really good. My husband loves when I make his pork too. He always said, oh, it tastes so good. Now he's going to see what I really do. He's going to see because he always asks me what I put in the pork for it to have this good, for it to taste so good. You know, now he's going to see my secret. Alright, so I'm just going to wait until the rest come to a golden brown state, and then I'll transfer and then I'll show you the next step. So it is ready to be taken out of the pot now and put into this pot. So I'm going to turn the stove off because I don't need to have it on anymore. And I'm going to take it out and I'm going to put it with the rest of pork in the Dutch pot. So I am going to throw off the excess oil. So see, I throw the oil off and I'm going to catch some water and I'm going to. So I did put a little bit, I put some of the jerk seasoning on top of the rest of meat that I put in the pot. Right, and I, did the same as I did once before. So I don't use a lot. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to pour these in the pot. All the seasoning going to be poured in the pot. Let me pull the pot up so you can see it a bit better. When I get some money, I'll buy a good camera. But right now, I'm working with what I have. But you should be able to see what I'm doing. So I pour everything in the pot and I'm going to discard the pot. See? Pour it in. Alright, so what I did with the frying pan, I went ahead and I catch water on it, let it come back down to room temperature, and I try to get everything out because guess what? All the flavor left in this pot here. So in this pan here. So I try to get all my flavors. So I pour some water on the frying pan, leave it there. So this is what I'll be cooking down the pork with. So you don't lose any of the flavor. And I did put some ketchup in it. I put a little bit of ketchup to it. So I'm pouring it on, and when it's finished cooking, I'll come back, guys, and I'll show you how my pot, how it turns out. Alright, so I'm gonna let it cook for at least 2 hours. I like when my meat properly cook. So I'm gonna let it cook for 2 hours and then I'll come back. So in between that time, I'll start my hair routine and you'll see the mask in my hair also. See how shiny my hair is, and it is wash day. I tell you, I could almost not wash it today, but that's my routine. I wash my hair every Sundays. So I'm about to apply the hibiscus mask to my hair and the aloe vera powder and avocado to my hair. Okay? Alrighty, I'll see you. Voila! And my mask is on. So let's get back into the video. Welcome back. So I finished cooking the pork and this is how it's looking. Alright, so I did finish cooking about 10 minutes ago and I turned it off. But this is how it is. I did not leave a lot of gravy in my pork because I don't really like a lot of gravy on my pork. So this is how it is. This is how it is looking. This is how it's looking. Alright. Alright. So I am going to taste it. So just remember that you can cook your pork as soft as how you want to cook it. You don't have to cook it for 2 hours if you don't want it to be this soft. But I like my pork soft. I like my pork well cooked. So what I would be eating today with this pork, it's been a while since I've eaten pork because mostly it's my husband eat pork and the kids. Alright, so I'm going to taste it. See how it's tasting. It's really soft. Oh my god, it's really good. It's well seasoned. This is really good. This is really good. It is really good. I did a good job. Alright, so what I'll be eating with this today, or what they will be eating with this today, they will be eating this with rice and peas. But I have not cooked my rice and peas as yet. I cooked the peas already. So this is red beans or red peas or whatever you know it as. So this is how it's looking. This is my peas. So when I finish, I'll just add the rice to it and cook the rice. But I'm not doing a rice and peas video. I'm doing a stew pork video. So I'll show you how I cook my stew pork. So on Sundays when I was growing up, it's rice and peas and chicken. That's the tradition for Sunday dinner. That's our traditional meal. Rice and peas and chicken. And sometimes we'd have stew pork. But it's mainly rice and peas and chicken. And I used to really love that. Right? So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you, when you cook it, you'll have a good flavor as I'm tasting right here. But if you follow the instruction properly, you will get the flavor as I taste here. Because if you use all the ingredients that I use, you will get the taste. And the jerk seasoning is optional. The jerk seasoning is my husband homemade jerk seasoning. He made it. So, and remember pimento. I did not add pimento to the mixture, to the seasoning. I did not. But pimento is a part of it. So I did add garlic. I had my all-purpose seasoning. And I had my scallion, I had my thyme, I have my onion, and I have Irish potato, and etc. So guys, I just hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for taking the time out to watching this video. And as you can see, I haven't rinsed out the mask out my hair as yet. It's still in my hair. Alright, so thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate your support. See you in my next video. Bye.